I want to talk about something I hate about The Secret,
Okay.
Okay.
and I hope this doesn't get too long-winded, but I hate how easy it is to just come up with the most like complex and outlandish ways to do these puzzles, and almost more so than the fact that people can do it is that they can make it sort of work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna call out Anagrams guy, not by his name. I respect the guy. I don't want to be rude to him. I think he's a very creative person.
He's a very nice guy.
You know, Shadow Theory, he is absolutely. I have been rude to him, and he has not reciprocated, and I appreciate that. So I try to be nice to the guy, but like that, and then like Shadow Theory and things like that, like it really calls to mind there's a theory in philosophy called the black pot theory or the black kettle theory, and it's the idea is that you have to try to give the burden of proof to somebody, right? So you say up in space there's a black teapot and it's floating up there and it controls gravity down here, and the person that you're talking to says, well, that's impossible. So you say back to them, prove me wrong. And that's not how arguments work, philosophically, feasibly. Like, they do work that way sometimes because you can't often prove the person wrong, but the burden of proof is not on me, the receiver of the information, it's on you, the provider of it, right? And when you come up with these super complex, convoluted ways to find the cask, and you get to locations with them and stuff, like, of course you're going to find those things. Like, of course there's going to be shadows at places, and of course you're going to be able to build anagrams that work to build a word that you find relative to where you think the cask is. Like, there's a little bit of that 23 syndrome going on where, if you're looking for it, you're always going to find it, right? Like, if you're constantly looking for the number 23, you're going to find it all over the place, right? Jim Carrey did a great movie about it. It's probably his best role ever, and it's not a comedy at all. But that's something I don't like about The Secret.
Which movie?
It's called 23.
23.
Yeah, great movie. That's what I thought.
I've totally seen that movie. That's how I knew.
23 is, he writes 23 a lot. I remember. It actually, I remember that, and Sunshine on the Spotless Mind, I think, or Spotshine on the Eternal Sunshine.
Very good movie.
Another great
Fantastic
movie.
show.
Yes.
Have you
Do I
guys
remember
watched,
exactly what happened in each of those movies? No, but I remember liking them.
Have you guys watched that Adam Sandler movie that just came out, like Rough Gems or something like that? I hear
that's a really good movie.
Is it? I haven't watched it yet, and everybody tells me it's amazing.
It is. The ending is not what I expected, but it's very good.
Corey Gilbert wants to know, why are there so many Canadians interested in The Secret, and how upsetting will it be when an American finds the Montreal cask?
What I want to know is, why are so few Western Canadians into The Secret? I've been doing this since 2017, and thus far I have never met anyone over here that is into this. But I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if an American found the Canadian cask, necessarily.
Do Canadians get upset over anything? Except, like, hockey sucks.
Yeah, we get upset over hockey games. I mean, look at Montreal Canadiens. They won a game and they still rioted in their cities. So, at least Vancouver, when they rioted in 2010, they lost. So they had, they had reason.
It's a good reason to riot if you lose. If you win, you shouldn't burn the town down.
Not that we're advocating riots.
No.
Yet.
By no means.
We talked some time back about like argumentation, and I thought you were on that. Were you on that podcast, Cole, where we were talking about it? And it may have been that one, or it may have been like one or two before that. But compare your I don't know about the teapot thing. Or the exact name of it, but like saying basically in debate, establishing a sandbox is the most important thing, so that somebody's debating in your sandbox rather than you debating in theirs. You know what I mean? So a common technique is saying exactly what you said. Oh, there's the world is on the back of a turtle.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think so? Have you ever You know, where's your pictures of no turtles? You know,
Yeah.
you know, things like that. And it happens a lot, but it happens a lot. This is a microcosm of life, right? And
Yeah.
it happens everywhere. And this is kind of like what, especially American society has turned into. But then there's the like using an extreme as the example. You know, like
Yeah.
okay, so um, America is a great place to live because have you, you know, in comparison to, and then, you know, put in some
Like Venezuela.
technically some like place that's not so good to
Cambodia,
live, right? So that's why America's great, but no, that's not why we're great. Plus, you'd have to sort of establish ground rules for that, like what is great. You'd have to define
Yeah.
the terms and stuff. But
Yeah.
technically, they're trying to bring you in their sandbox and keep you there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I really
So-
love, Brett, that your argument, like if somebody came up to you and went, America's great, you would be like, define great.
Oh, you would, because I don't know how many like I did debate all through high school and into college,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure, you know, how many, if that's interesting to anybody or not. It probably isn't, but I really like it. And you know, the way you start a debate is you in many ways is you define all the terms, and when you define the terms, you define them in your court that's going to back up the line of argumentation that you're about to unleash upon your opponent, right?
Right.
So and then the big thing is in debate is silence means consent. So if they don't hit, you know, your mouth is running a mile a minute in a debate round for 2 minutes. If they don't hit, you defined America as Zambia, they're screwed because now America is Zambia,
Mhm.
You know, that's
right? So
something.
now everybody,
That's something I hate about arguments, especially within the secret. It's like somebody will come up with an argument. Somebody will be like, well, I don't know. Somebody will be having an argument, and then all of a sudden, the person that's doing the arguing will throw out like 800 things that make no sense. You know, they'll like state 800, and you can't, like, how do you defend? Like, you can't have an argument against each of those points. It's like nobody goes point by point anymore.
dude.
Well, or
So
else they
I
put
was
out the trump card of you don't have a cast, right? Like that ends almost every conversation that starts in those.
That's the
comment
perfect
sections, right?
example. That's the perfect example. So because you don't have a cask, you know, and I'm not saying that
That we
I'm
don't
not-
have a cast?
I'm not saying that. Well, define cask. No, but dude, back to your point, George. So flow debating is where you bury them. So you have a minute and a half to respond to what they just said, and you make 8 point. You write down everything that they said, and then you make 3, 4, 5 different points to each thing that they said, and you crush them with inability to like respond to all of those in their next rebuttal, and then you pull through a couple of those, and then you claim that you won those different topics. So you're absolutely right. That is it's actually
It's
a
a
really
tactic.
it
Okay.
is a tactic. It's a great one too. It's tough for a lot of people to get to that many points.